her job, God gave her the job to carry you so that she could give you to me.
Hoda, no! What is this, The Handmaid's Tale? Why do people talk about adoption like this? People are not your human incubators. Like, we can't talk about human beings this way. People wonder all the time why so many adopted people complain about adoption. Like, this is why. We grew up this way. Let's watch this video.
Your girls have started asking questions. Why talk about that in this book? And then how did you handle it?
I think for my kids, they were asking me, I was telling them about adoption. And I thought, how do you tell that story to your kids? And I said at first, you weren't born in my tummy, you were born in my heart. And they were like, oh, okay. So they got a little older, and all of a sudden I thought, well, I have to tell them every child comes from a tummy. So I go, well, actually, a few years later, you came from another person's tummy, and so did you. She's like your birth mother angel, and she's there. And her job, God gave her the job to carry you so that she could give you to me. That was her job. And then they said, our birth mother angel. I said, yeah. And is she alive? Yeah, somewhere out there. We don't know who that is yet. But it gave, we're framing things for a kid.
Framing things for a kid? Are you the kid, Hoda? Because this isn't framing something for an adopted person. This is framing something to convince yourself that these children were always meant to be yours. You're relegating the mother or mothers of these children to the role of a human incubator, except not a human incubator because she's not even human, right? She's a birth mother angel. She can't even exist on this planet as a real person because that would be a threat to your exclusive motherhood. And I say this is how so many of us grew up because this is how we grew up. So many adopted people were adopted into religious households, which inherently presents this conflict. You have two families, but you're only allowed to have one set of exclusive parents because the adopters want to be the only parents. These adopters have God on their side, and they also have children's literature on their side, like Hoda Kotb's I've Loved You Since Forever. If you want to be the exclusive owners of a child when there is another set of parents who actually created this child in the universe, you have to simply get God involved. You can't be the exclusive owners of an adopted person if you're honest with them, because to be honest with an adopted person about their origins is to acknowledge that there is another set of parents out there somewhere in the universe, whether they're near or far. And ultimately, it is this insecurity, this fragility that leads so many adopters to turn to God or the universe and create these stories about how it was always intended for us to be relinquished and adopted. And of course, these stories fall apart pretty easily. It was God's plan all along for us to grow in your hearts, but why did God put us in the wrong woman? Why didn't he just put us in your womb instead? If these narratives truly exist for children, they exist for adult children who can't acknowledge the simple realities that adopted people don't have one set of parents. Adopters write these stories to erase our connections to family because they feel threatened by said connections. The desperation with which so many adopters try to erase these connections only reveals how important it is to so many adopted people to have them. And what a shame that these kids don't have them because of the insecurities of adults.